All right, I think we are up. Are we up? Find out in a second. Oh, hang on. Hello, everybody. Finally, we are with you. Welcome to the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show for Super Bowl 52. My name is Alex Barth. Thank you for joining us. We've come a long way from the pre-recorded shows back in August during the preseason all the way. Well, I'm not in Minnesota. I'm still here in our Foxborough adjacent studio, but all the way to Minnesota. We'll be getting you ready for the Patriots and the Eagles over the next half an hour. So please, any questions, comments, thoughts on the game you have, put them in the chat over there to my left. I'm more than happy to talk about whatever it is you guys want to talk about. We'll start with the inactives today because those have just come out, and then we will go through the X's and O's throughout the game, leading you up to right about, we'll call it like 5:30. So the inactives are out. Let me just pull those up here. We'll start with the New England Patriots. Very few surprises in this one. Mike Gillislee, Alan Branch, David Harris, Cole Croston, Kenny Britt, Jacob Hollister, and Bernard Reedy. So even though I had a dinner bet on Jacob Hollister scoring a touchdown on this game, he will be inactive. Mike Gillislee will be inactive. So the question of who will be the Patriots' goal line back probably shifts to Rex Burkhead. I'm not sure if they give Brandon Bolden perhaps the carries in this game that he might get. Otherwise, pull up the inactives on the other side here in just a bit. But again, if you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts on the game, please share them with us here at CLNS Media. I just want to remind everybody that this is the beginning of our coverage. We will switch to Twitter after this, at Patriots CLNS. We will be back at halftime with the CLNS halftime report on the CLNS Facebook page. Mike and Marv will have you back here on the YouTube page post-game, and then Trags will have his 5 from Foxborough up on clnsmedia.com. So as we continue to break it down here, the Patriots and the Eagles, the term we've been hearing all week, and let's start with the Eagles on the offensive side of the ball, because I've talked to people all week. Nobody really seems too concerned about the Eagles' defense. They do have a good defense. They do have a good pass rush. But if the Eagles want to win this game, they are going to have to be productive offensively. And the way they're going to do that is with the term we've been hearing all week, run-pass options. It's how they've simplified the offense for Nick Foles. They've actually simplified it by making it more complicated. Run-pass options are by no means easy for a quarterback because you have to do a lot mentally at once, but it's going to, if run correctly, will give you more open windows to throw the ball, more time in the pocket, and it just mentally it speeds everything up, but physically it slows everything down for the quarterback, and that's what they've done for Nick Foles. That's how they won in Minnesota against Minnesota 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship game, although I think the Vikings quit kind of early in that game, and that's how they beat Atlanta. So how do the Patriots defend a run-pass option? And I just wanted, before we get into this, guys, if you have any comments or questions, put those over there in the chat bar on the left, and we'll get to them. How do you defend the run-pass option? Well, it starts off the edge like it would with any option. You cannot allow running backs to break contain freely. You have to give them the option. You have to take away the option to run. It makes things a lot easier. Now, last week against Jacksonville, the Patriots had trouble setting the edge early. It got better later in the game. The fact of the matter is, as good as they are on the edge, they don't have a lot of size out there. Kyle Van Noy is going to be their primary edge setter. This is where losing Dante Hightower really hurts because Van Noy not nearly as big. And where they do have size, they don't have necessarily as much speed in Trey Flowers or Dietrich Wise. And this is where mid-season acquisition is really going to come in huge for the Patriots today, and that is James Harrison. They are going to need the former Steelers linebacker to set the edge, not allow Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement, LeGarrette Blount to get to the outside and force the Eagles into passing situations in those RPOs, because if you do that, it makes it easier on the second level. They can commit more to the pass defending options if they know they're not going to have to worry as much about the run. Okay, and then when you get, if they do get to the outside, the running back I have my eye on most here for the Eagles in this offense is Corey Clement, the rookie product out of Wisconsin. Clement scares me because he's very similar to Corey Grant. We saw last week with Jacksonville, Kenyon Drake in Miami. He was a huge reason Miami pulled off that win on Monday Night Football. These quicker pass-catching backs on plays that originate behind the line of scrimmage, passing plays, right? So you're talking about swings, swing passes, screen routes, that kind of thing. The Patriots have been eaten alive by those. And they didn't really stop it against Jacksonville as much as Jacksonville just stopped calling those plays, which was very confusing. We saw it last year in the Super Bowl, right? Devonta Freeman, that what should have been the nail in the coffin, the 42-yard catch and run, originated in the backfield. So the Patriots are going to need to contain all the running backs, specifically Corey Clement, on those plays. And the way to do that is to take away the run in the run-pass option, because if you are ready for it, it makes it substantially easier. Same goes for the play action. If you can take them out of situations where they want to run the ball, which is the Eagles' strength, and that's done at all phases. You take away the run by playing good against the run. Discourage them from calling it. You take away the run by stopping it when they do call it. You take it away by taking it away in the run-pass option, right? Don't give them that option. Don't let them set up running plays out of passing sets. And the best way to take away the run? Get a lead, which the Patriots never do in the Super Bowl. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But they never get leads in the Super Bowl. If you can do that and you take away the run, then you make Nick Foles win the game with his passing skill set as opposed to his knowledge. And he has a very high football IQ. But you put the game in the arm of Nick Foles as opposed to the head, which is a place the Patriots would much rather let it be. So this whole game plan today starts with stopping the run, and it's going to take complementary football. Every time the Patriots played a good game this year, we heard complementary football, complementary football, complementary football. All three phases working in synergy with one another. You score points, you get a lead. Special teams, you give them a long field, so they need to throw. And then it's the defensive job to take away a run and take away that option. So they have to throw the ball and make things easier on the defensive back so they know what's coming. That is the ideal, again, ideal, a lot easier said than done, but ideal defensive game plan for the New England Patriots in this game. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts on the game, I already see we already have a thumbs down on YouTube. You think I'm being an idiot? Tell me why. Call me on it. Put it on the comments over there on the left side of the screen. And again, you can follow us all day, all night. We have your Patriots coverage up till the break of dawn. The machine march is on at Patriots CLNS on Twitter, clnsmedia.com, CLNS Media Network on Facebook. Okay, join us. We're talking, we'll be talking Patriots however it goes throughout the night and probably into tomorrow as well. On the other side of the football, offensively for the Patriots, they have scored during this run. So they did score first against the Bears. They got a 3-0 lead, and I think they scored first against the Packers. But on this Super Bowl run, the Patriots generally do not score in the first quarter. They score first sometimes, as they did in Super Bowl 36, as they have in other Super Bowls. But they generally do not score in the first quarter. And I said it going into the game last year against a good offense. They need to get a lead early. Apparently they didn't. And you know what? That's okay. That's all right. That's fine. They didn't, and they still won the game. But I just want one of these games to be fun to watch. I just want to enjoy one of them and not feel like I'm going to puke the whole time, right? So a lead early would be great for us as fans. Would be great for them too. And the way they're going to do that is throwing the ball and playing up-tempo. It's been talked to death this week, but I'm not going to say anything else because nothing else is correct. They need to play up-tempo football. This is a game where Tom Brady could end up throwing the ball 50 to, I'm going to even say 60 times. All right, the Patriots are going to want their play count to be in the 80s. It was 99 last year, including penalties. 99. And what they did was, even though they didn't succeed early, they wore that Falcons defense out. They made them tired, right? The Eagles have been sick all week. They're probably not in the best shape. So for the Patriots, get that play count up. When I say throw the ball, doesn't have to be down the field. Doesn't have to, you don't have to be targeting Gronk up the seam every play. You can dink and dunk. A lot of passes to James White, a lot of passes to Dion Lewis. But just build up that play count and get that Eagles defense tired. It's like that Giants defense we saw twice, right? They got 7 guys up front that can all get to the passer effectively. They're going to switch them all in and out. They're going to try to keep them fresh. The way you keep them off the field is you don't substitute. You run up tempo. You don't let them get guys in and out. And then you get that one unit tired, so when you get to the red zone, you can beat down on them. You have to capitalize in the red zone. You get the next unit second time out. Hopefully defense puts them right back on the field quickly. And you tire out that second unit. And if you can get them worn out, I mean, if Brady has time, if you can get Tom Brady time in this game, I'm not a huge fan of the Eagles secondary. I think it's the weakest unit they have. Both sides of the ball. I like their offensive line. Love their running backs. I think their receivers are underrated. Nick Foles, say what you will about him, but he has gotten them this far. Defensive front is outstanding. Defensive front is their best unit, but I'm not sold on that secondary. Now, they're good. They got them this far. They're a good secondary, but that's the group you want to attack if you're going to win this game. That is the weakness you need to take advantage of, and the way you do that is to get Tom Brady a clean pocket, either outstanding blocking up front, which is completely possible, but more likely than not, you slow the blockers down up front. You get to them, or you get to them physically, you wear them out. It takes more energy to get to the line, put your hand down on the ground, bust up out of that stance, go full effort up against a guy who's maybe got 30, 40 pounds on you, sprint up the field, right? You got to get back on line if it's no huddle, and do it all again. Linemen aren't exerting as much, offensive linemen aren't exerting as much effort as defensive linemen. You got to use that to your advantage in this game. Again, this is the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show. My name's Alex Barth. Thank you for joining us for the beginning of our coverage today. We will take you up until about 5 o'clock here. That was the original plan. We did get on a little late. I apologize for that if anybody was looking for the show. But we are up. We are on now. If you guys have any questions, comments, let me put that in the chat here. Please feel free to lob them my way. Anything like that, game starts at 6:30. Should probably know that. Well, scheduled to start at 6:30. Given it's the Super Bowl, it'll probably start closer to 7. Who's on the coin toss here? Does anybody know? Last year with the Bushes was, I mean, you know, I don't want to get political, but just those that was awesome. Okay, for reasons besides politics, I thought the coin toss was awesome last year. Halftime show was okay. Nothing's ever going to top U2 2001. I don't expect this year to top it either. So we talked about both sides of football a little bit. Let's talk about kind of what's on the line here tonight. Because, as with any Super Bowl, you're sitting on the precipice of history, and anytime you get a franchise as dominant as the Patriots in it, that gets ratcheted up a couple more notches. Now, for the Eagles, they haven't won an NFL championship since 1960. They haven't won a Super Bowl ever. It obviously, you know, it would mean a lot to them, and we all remember here in this area kind of what that's like, and we'll leave it at that. What this game would hypothetically mean for the Patriots if they were to win it. 6 Super Bowls, back-to-back twice, 3 out of 4 twice, all in the salary cap era, all with the same coach and quarterback. In a league where that's not supposed to happen. There's so much turmoil in the NFL. If they were to do that, I think right now, I don't think there's much of a question. With the run they've made, they're the most successful franchise in NFL history. And you can give me the Steelers and the Niners if you want. I don't care. The Packers, whatever. They won in different time. They won in a different time. This is the most competitive the NFL's ever been. Well, it's probably more competitive than it was when they won the first 3 as opposed to the second 2, but still more competitive than any other time in NFL history. You're probably looking at the most impressive run a franchise has ever had in the 4 professional sports. And you can put the Yankees right now. The Yankees are ahead of them. You put the Yankees to the side because they won most of their titles in the 20s and 30s when there were maybe 7 good baseball players on the planet, and the Yankees had half of them. Same goes for the Celtics. There were, 8 teams in the NBA when they won all those titles? Still impressive. Still very impressive. But sport is established now. We haven't seen a dynasty like this in the modern era. Maybe the Lakers. Maybe the 90s and early 2000s Lakers. But that's a different game. This is the championships in football, and all the hockey people can come at me. Championships in football. Super Bowls are the hardest title to win in professional sports. Because in the playoffs, in hockey, if you have a bad game, you get another night. You don't get that in football. If you have a bad night, you're done. And that doesn't exist in any other sport at the professional level. And for a lot of people tonight, if the Patriots win, myself included, I am 23 years old. The first ever football game I watched start to finish was the Snow Bowl. Probably. There might be others. It's the first one I remember watching. And when they won those first 3 titles, you looked at those and said, what a run that was. We'll probably never see anything like it again. And that was kind of the mantra for years and years, and that's what got us through those tough losses to the Ravens and the Colts and the Broncos. And then they won in 14. And you thought, wow, I experienced it as a child. I finally got to experience it as an adult. I was 21 years old. I get to experience this now at another time in my life. That's really cool. I'm glad I got to know what it was like when I was at an age where I could really understand the game better and follow it better. And then they won last year. And that kind of solidified, if it hadn't been solidified already, the fact that, wow, I am watching the greatest quarterback this game has ever seen. Maybe the greatest professional athlete we've ever seen. And what that game set up was tonight. And that is, if the Patriots go on and win tonight, how you will look at those first 3 Super Bowls is completely changed. And how you look at everything leading up to this is completely changed, because you can't even put it. I'm trying my best to put this into words, right? At first it was, wow, that was a cool experience. And then it was, that was a cool experience, and I'm glad I got to see from another angle. And then it was, wow, this is something I've never seen before. And then if they win tonight, it is 2 once-in-a-lifetime experiences Patriots Nation will have. If you were born, let's say old enough to remember, before 1997 or earlier, you will have gotten 2 once-in-a-lifetime opportunities if they win tonight. And I think that's just... I'm more nervous for this game than I was last year. I'm more nervous for this game than I was for the Seattle game. Now, I think both of those teams were better than the Eagles. The Eagles are still a very good football team. But, this completely changes the way what could happen tonight. Herb Brooks, great moments are born from great opportunity. A Patriots win tonight changes the way we have to define dominance in the modern era of sport, of team sport. And that's a lofty topic. That is a lofty topic. And I've taken history of sport classes. I had history of sport professors in college, and we talked about this stuff going back to ancient Rome, ancient Greece, the original Olympics. The Patriots have a chance to redefine. They're not rewriting the NFL record books. They have a chance to redefine the history of sport as a concept tonight. And if that's not a big enough plug for you, I don't know. Your blood's not pumping. I'm sorry, I can't help you there. So one more time, this is the back to reality. This is the I realized that like 20 minutes before it came on. I just wanted to get it out there. Okay. Jeez. You're watching CLNS Patriots pregame show. My name's Alex Barth. Thanks for joining us. If you guys have any questions or comments, thoughts on the game, please share them over to my left as we take you up until kickoff here. This is just the beginning of our coverage. Follow us on Twitter at PatriotsCLNS. I'm sorry. I'm still recovering from that little rant there. Yeah, so any other thoughts on the game anybody has? My players to watch in this one. I think Rob Gronkowski has to be a player to watch, as good as the Eagles' defense has been this year. They're second in the league in terms of opponent passer rating. They were second in the league when the opposing quarterback was targeting running backs. Third in the league when the opposing quarterback was targeting wide receivers. 28th, okay, bottom 4 in the NFL when targeting tight ends. And now they got to guard the best tight end in football. This is where my Jacob Hollister prediction came in. I thought maybe, they overcompensate on Gronk. Brady looks to other tight ends, but I guess that guy would be Dwayne Allen. But my big picture player to watch for the Patriots offense is Rob Gronkowski. On defense, it's Kyle Van Noy, because they are going to need him to work sideline to sideline. He does it so well. Talked about defending those run-pass options. He struggled at times last week to set the edge against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can't have that again tonight. You have to be able to set the edge against this Eagles team, or they are going to RPO your ass up and down the field. On the other side of the ball, small picture, underdog players to watch for the Patriots on the offensive side of the ball. And I guess I kind of just took away Dwayne Allen. Let me go Brandon Bolden here, because if there's no Mike Gillislee, maybe they'll run Rex Burkhead on the goal line, but we saw them do it with Brandon Bolden against Tennessee. Maybe Brandon Bolden has a touchdown in this game. Maybe that is their goal line back. We'll have to wait and see. And then on the other side of the ball, my smaller name player to watch out for is going to be Johnson Batamosi. I think the Eagles have a lot of speed Not having Jonathan Jones tonight's going to hurt the Patriots. I think Johnson Batamosi is a guy who could fill in that role, maybe helping on Nelson Aguilar, some of the smaller, quicker Eagles receivers. On the other side of the ball for the Eagles, my main player to watch is Alshon Jeffrey. We've seen the Patriots struggle with bigger receivers this year. Kelvin Benjamin ate them up with the Bills. They, even though the score was low, I thought they had some trouble with Mike Evans against Tampa Bay. They've had trouble with those bigger guys this year, so I expect Stephon Gilmore to be on him. Let's see what kind of an impact Alshon Jeffrey makes, especially when the Eagles get into the red zone, because we know Patriots bend don't break defense. Alshon Jeffrey's kind of a guy that can break that mold, given his skills in that part of the field. Smaller player to watch, Corey Clement. Talked about it earlier. I think using him on the run-pass option in the play action, guys like that on plays like that this year have really killed the Patriots at times. So they need to know where Corey Clement is when he's in the game, where he is on the field. They need to make sure they have somebody assigned to him at all times. On the defensive side of the football, main player to watch, Fletcher Cox. I feel like there hasn't been a lot talked about him. He hasn't been talked a lot about much this week, but he is one of the best defensive players in football. Behind Aaron Donald, he may be the second best defensive tackle. At least that comes to my mind right now. I know it's kind of close, but he's an outstanding football player. And more often than not, when teams get pressure on Brady, they don't do it off the edge. They do it up the middle. The Eagles have one of the best guys at doing that in the middle. I'd expect the Patriots to be double-teaming him from the first snap and for most of the game. You can't let Fletcher Cox start to move downhill. You can't let him start to get momentum, because that's a guy, if we're talking 6 hours from now, and the Eagles have won this game, my guess is Fletcher Cox was one of, if not the main reason. Smaller name player on the Eagles defense I'm looking for. This is real small. Camus Grugier-Hill, former Patriot, mainly a special teamer, does get a few snaps on defense. He knows the system, and I know I could go Chris Long here, but I said I'd go with kind of a lesser-known name. He knows the system. He is a bit of a quicker linebacker, so he could help against some of those running backs like Dion Lewis and James White. I wonder if maybe they give him some snaps on defense against his former team and let him try to make some plays. So, if we have no more questions here on the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show, I just want to remind everybody that this is just the beginning of our coverage. You can follow it all on Twitter at PatriotsCLNS. We'll be tweeting on there right after this. I will be back at halftime on the CLNS Facebook page. And then you can join us. I'll try not to overlap with JT. I'm going to do my best for that. And then you can join us post-game right here in the CLNS YouTube page. Mike and Marv will have you. Trags will have his 5 from Fox Sparrow on CLNSmedia.com. I know I'll talk to everybody at halftime, but I just want to say it's been kind of a roller coaster this year. We've been on YouTube. We've been on Facebook. We've been on Periscope. We've been on Shindig. We've been pre-recorded. But this comes from the higher-ups. It's been a successful year in the show, and we have to thank you, everybody who's watched all year. I especially want to thank Jonah Freelick and Pat Jones, who I know of just two loyal viewers I know we've had, and I appreciate them kind of sticking with me week by week, and I appreciate them viewing. Chris Osgood as well. I want to thank Nick Gelso, Mike Alongi, everybody at CLNS, Larry Russell for giving me the opportunity to put the show on. And hopefully we'll be back next year bigger and better than ever. So, my name's Alex Barth. For everybody at CLNS, thanks for watching CLNS Media Patriots pregame show. I will talk to you all at halftime. Go Pats.